Hi guys, it's Ronnie, and I'm back this week with not something I'm cooking, but actually kind of more of a tip on how I store meat in my freezer. And I mentioned this like a while back, and I also brought it on Greenlight Bites. I call it my frozen flat trick. And a few people have asked for me to demonstrate it. It's kind of hard to explain in words, and I'm having a hard time explaining it now on video, but I think showing you will really help. So the idea here is, and I got the idea when I was breastfeeding and I needed a means to store breast milk, and it was so much easier. I don't know if you ever saw a breast milk bag, but it's very similar to a frozen bag, but it's about half the size, so it, like a big rectangle. And they sell all these contraptions to help you store it, and they took up more room in the freezer than anything, and I thought they were fairly useless. So what I started doing was pouring the milk in and then freezing it flat like this, so that I could stack them up. And I actually used a gift bag, and I was thinking about doing a video to demonstrate that too for breastfeeding mothers, but I'm getting off track. Anyway, I realized that I can use the same technique for meat, and it kind of allows me to store a lot more ground beef. And I like to buy in bulk and then freeze it, so I don't have to keep purchasing meat every week at the grocery store. So let me tell you what I have here. I have some freezer bags, just plain old run-of-the-mill freezer bags. I have my scale because I'm going to weigh out so I know how much I'm putting in each bag. And I saw this trick. I think I saw it on Good Eats, the whole Alton Brown show, and he wraps his scale in saran wrap, so that way he doesn't have to worry about cross-contamination. So then when I'm done weighing meat, I could just wrap up the saran wrap and throw it in the garbage. So that's great. And I had 2 pounds of ground beef sirloin, which I got from my local Aldi's, and it's 90%. And I get a lot of questions asking about what kind of meat I use, so like even the ground turkey. I just buy the leanest that whatever makes sense affordable-wise. So this is, I try to go 90% or higher, and Aldi's only carries 90% as their highest, and it's convenient. It comes in 2-pound packages, so I can freeze them in 8 ounces, and I can pull 1 or 2 out depending on what I'm making for dinner. And I do the same thing for ground turkey. I usually buy at least the 93%, or if it's on sale, I'll buy like the extra lean, which I think is 97%. Okay, so I just have my knife, so I should have done this already, but sorry. Should have done it off camera, but so this is my ground beef, and what I'm going to do is weigh out. I probably should take my rings off. Let me do that really fast. Down here. I don't want to get meat inside the ring. Okay, so I'm going to zero my scale, and I'm going to weigh out 8 ounces of ground beef. How many grams right now? I got to go to ounces. All right, so that's about 4, and I kind of just slap it on so it doesn't get all over the place. That's almost 7. Sometimes it's like it's a little game I play to see if I can get right on. 7 3/4, and if you're off a quarter, it's not a big deal. But now that I'm demonstrating, I want it's exactly 8. Okay, so I have my ball of meat here, yes, and I'm gonna stick it in. I probably shouldn't have picked it up yet. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna stick it in my Ziploc bag, get it to the bottom, and I'm hoping you guys can see me do this. I'll slide this over. And then I just squish it. Notice I'm leaving it open because I want the air to come out. And the frozen flat trick kind of serves a couple purposes. One, if you do it right, and notice I'm kind of like, I'm kind of using my finger, and I'm getting it in both corners so that I can then work my way up. And I get all the air out, in addition to freezing it in a nicer, storage-friendly way. Plus, it just frosts really fast. So I actually kill 3 birds with 1 stone. One is I reduce freezer burn because there's not a lot of air in the package, and I can store it easier. And if I forget to pull something out for dinner, I can pull one of these out, run it under water, and have defrosted ground beef in just a couple seconds. So I don't make sure it's perfect, but I flatten it out just like that right to the edge. I know you can't see it, but it's kind of right to the Ziploc edge. That way you kind of guarantee you get the most air out, and then I just seal it. There we go. And then I have my trusty Sharpie, and I did 8 ounces, and today's date is I have no idea, Isn't that bad? What is today's date? Gosh. It's Valentine's Day. It's the 14th. Oh, I should have known that. Okay, I'm really scatterbrained now. Alright, so 2/14, and I don't have to put the year, but I will. So then I get this nice, flat, frozen flat, or it's not frozen yet, but flat piece of meat, or, ground beef. So I would do, this is 2 pounds, so I'll end up with 4 of these. And I like to do 8 ounces. You could do 16 ounces. It just won't defrost as fast. But if you have a larger family, that makes sense. But for the 3 of us, if I'm making chili or if I'm making Salisbury steak, 8 ounces is perfect. I think maybe when the toddler gets older, I might have to do more. But for now, 8 ounces of meat for the 3 of us, once I kind of combine it with veggies and the starch, it works really well. So I wanted to show you kind of one frozen that I haven't before. I know I'm off camera right now, I'm sorry. But I didn't want to leave it out. So this is one that I have in there, and they stack up really nice. And you can put the newer ones on the top or on the bottom, and then you kind of have a rolling meat storage system for your freezer. You can also kind of do it this way, if that makes sense. I also, since I have you, show you a couple other tricks that I do. These are a couple other things from my freezer. I only had 2 left, but these are my pancakes, the whole wheat pancakes that I made for the toddler and I. And there's 2 in there, and they're a little stuck together now, but if I just use a butter knife, I can peel them apart. But I just freeze them in the same Ziploc bag. So I'll cook up a batch of whole wheat pancakes, which makes about 10, and the toddler and I will eat breakfast, and then I take whatever leftovers, and I put them on a plate on the side, let them cool to room temperature, and then I just stick them in the Ziploc bag, and then throughout the week I can pop one out in for my microwave. 25 seconds is perfect, and then the toddler and I have a new habit where we smear like peanut butter jelly on them, which is really good. So that's another freezer trick. And then these, I get this question a lot too. These are the canisters that I use for my leftovers, and this is, I have to go by sight because I don't write on them. This is actually my leftover turkey taco stew. I have 1 left, which is really good. But when I make a dish for dinner, I take any leftovers and I put it in one of these containers. I let it, and you can see it's got a little bit of freezer thing going on there. I usually try to let it sit out to room temperature. That kind of helps reduce the amount of kind of moisture that you get inside when it freezes. But then what I do is I just bring this to work in a lunch bag, and I don't put it in the fridge at work. I just leave because it's frozen. So by the time lunch rolls around, it's defrosted just about through, and I can pop it in the microwave for a few minutes, and I have my home cooked meals for lunch, which is great. And I also just did a test with my turkey burgers that I made yesterday, and I froze them even though I just made them yesterday. But I froze them just like I froze the pancakes, just in a bag like this, and I just pulled one out and ate it. Throw it in the microwave for about 1.5 minutes and put it on a bun, and it was great. I cooked them and then froze them. So then that way I could just bring them to the work in a baggie and then pop them in the microwave. So I'm a big freezer girl because I like to cook at home, and then I like to be able to bring my leftovers. And when you have a husband that doesn't really eat leftovers, then you get a lot of free lunches out of the deal. So that's it. I hope that helps. And I could do another one on camera, but I think you guys are good. I'll do, if there's questions, just post them in the comments. And I hope that helps you organize your freezer a little bit. That's it. Another weekly video off my to-do list. Talk to you guys later. Bye.